Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. And my friends, XRP is a scarce asset. Very scarce. And so when I hear Bitcoin maxi trolls say, 100 billion XRP, I'm like, get away, Bitcoin maxi troll. Ain't nobody got time for your jibber jabber. That's not very much XRP. Consider this. If all of the XRP in existence at its max supply of 100 billion, if it were to be evenly distributed amongst all, however many, was it like 7 billion people? It's been a while since I ran the numbers, but it'll be close enough. You'll get the concept. If you were to evenly distribute all of that XRP so that everybody gets the same amount on this planet, each person would only have like 12 or 13 XRP. So you listening to this, since this is an XRP-centric channel, I'm going to guess that you hold some XRP. Do you have more than 12 or 13 XRP? Because I gotta tell you, you are in the world of crypto before the rest of the planet. I mean, it's something like 0.002, something like that, percent of like the human population holds any XRP at all. It's whatever. I can't remember the percent off the top of my head. I actually shared it on the channel here, but some time ago, and it was an estimate. But still, it's like almost no humans freaking have this. And you know what's going to be happening? I think anyway, in the coming months and really more so years. I think we're going to see widespread adoption of the cryptocurrency asset class, and people will be clamoring for diversity. It will become easier to jump in. It'll become less taboo. It already is. And you're going to see these scarce assets, people try and snatch them up. And if they want to, they're going to be at higher prices, I firmly believe. Now, to be clear, I don't have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I just think it's fun to talk about these topics and make YouTube videos purely as a hobby. It's my most favoriteest hobby I've ever had. But before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap the like button, I would appreciate the support. But don't smash it, because you break it, you buy it, my friends. Tough love on the Moon Lambeau channel. And also, I recommend that you treat yourself, girl, by subscribing to the Moon Lambeau channel. Don't cost nothing, damn it, so take my free content. And so, you can take a look at this. I'm on XRP scan right now. That's what's on your screen here. And there have been, where I'm moving the mouse around right here, this is a chart showing the number of new account activations over the last year. And so you can see recently, at its most wild, we saw in one day 8,068 new XRP accounts. And so why did it spike up? Well, there was all sorts of activity surrounding price action. People were FOMOing into it, and that pushed up the price of XRP. It resulted in a massive new quantity of XRP accounts, and it's gone down a bit since then. But this isn't the last we've seen of spikes like this, I certainly believe. In fact, if you go back to 2017, I know there was at least one individual day. And mind you, so this is just, if you think December 2017, this is when you saw the most massive run-up in the price action of XRP in history, when it went from 20-something cents to almost $4. There were individual days, at least one anyway, where there were over 20,000 new accounts created. Now consider this. This is ledger.exposed, the website, it's the XRP rich list. And this shows right here, where I'm circling, the number of total XRP accounts at the time I'm recording this, which is 2,254,265. That's it. That's it. Almost nobody on the freaking planet has XRP. And so it's all the Bitcoin maxi trolls that say, "Oh my gosh, 100 billion, that's way too much." I'm like, are you aware of how many humans there are? It's like, do you have great vision for adoption of the cryptocurrency asset class, or do you not? Because you seem really visionary when it comes to Bitcoin, but for some reason not so much when it comes to XRP. Might ideology be driving what you're saying here? Methinks the answer is yes. Take a look at this headline from A&B Crypto, and I think this is really going to give you a good idea of just how scarce these assets are. And given that there are almost no humans on the planet when you compare to the total population of planet Earth, there are almost no humans in this asset class. And so here's a headline. Here's how many Bitcoin is left for retailers to buy. And this caught my attention. Well, first of all, admittedly, it's an interesting headline. But days prior, I had watched a video on the YouTubes from The Modern Investor, who is certainly a very pro-Ripple, pro-XRP guy. His channel's not explicitly about that, but he's certainly pro-Ripple and pro-XRP. And he made an entire video, it was like over a half hour long, about just how scarce Bitcoin is. And it was called something like, we're going to run out of Bitcoin or something like that. And he didn't literally mean that. He was just kind of driving home the point that it's like so much of it is already spoken for. And there's a finite supply. And we know that Bitcoin leads the markets. Like, why is this important? You're like, Moon Lambo, this is a XRP-centric YouTube channel. Blah, blah, blah. Well, yes, that is correct, good sir or madam. That is correct. Very observant of you. But you see, XRP is following the price action of Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin is scarce and the price of Bitcoin is driven up until cryptocurrencies are sufficiently bought on their own merits, until we get to a point where utility actually matters, and cryptocurrencies are parsed out based on their own merits, you're just going to see the asset class continue to move in tandem. So if this is true about Bitcoin, and it is, and if it drives up the price, which I believe it will, this is going to be incredible for XRP. And this doesn't even take into consideration what's going to happen as other institutions, publicly traded companies, what have you, those very large entities come in and purchase not just Bitcoin, but XRP and other large cap cryptocurrencies that have kind of proven their staying power. What's going to happen as those start getting snatched up in addition to this? Because not only is XRP scarce, it's actually deflationary. Unlike Bitcoin, a tiny bit of it actually gets burnt with every single transaction, so it's called a fee. Okay, the fee doesn't go to anyone; it stops existing. That's it. It's just a network fee that was designed to prevent spamming. You could have technically designed the network so that there was no fee at all to move XRP, but then it would have been free to spam the network, and that would not have been good. And so it's set up so that there's a minuscule fee, but it gets really costly if you really want to ramp it up, and it's worked thus far perfectly well. So anyway, but I wanted to mention this. So like I was kind of surprised in going through this article. They didn't mention the modern investor, and I've never seen an article like this. So I would have thought that this type of content would have come directly from the fact that he is the one that really started talking about this topic. But nonetheless, whatever. I like giving credit where it's due. So maybe he happened to come up with the same topic on his own. But if not, that kind of sucks. I like just giving people credit if they deserve it. And I'm going to give the modern investor credit because I thought it was a good video. But check this out. Let's pick up where MicroStrategy left off. Their additional purchase of Bitcoin, which leaves them with a total of 40,824 Bitcoin. While this may be bullish for Bitcoin and everyone in the ecosystem, we don't realize what this implies. So let's take a look at what this means. And then they have a little subheading here, Grayscale. Grayscale Investments has been at the forefront of bringing Bitcoin to institutions and retail alike. However, what goes unnoticed by most is the rate at which they are buying Bitcoin. In January 2017 through January of 2018, their Bitcoin holdings increased by 9.87%. The same trend was observed from January 2018 to January 2019, with a 15.73% growth in holdings. From January 2020 to June 2020, the holdings increased by a whopping 89.39%. Yes, you heard me right, 89.39%, to 536.86 thousand Bitcoin that they hold, okay? So not accounting for the first week of December. So Grayscale is gobbling up Bitcoin at an unprecedented rate as more institutions realize what the future for the dollar holds. Incredible, right? Staggering numbers. But it doesn't stop there. And by the way, this is just the beginning. You just wait. There are going to be all sorts of publicly traded companies that jump into the world of crypto, utilizing it purely as a treasury reserve asset. I firmly believe that is coming. I believe that you're going to be seeing additional institutional adoption, and it's already here, mind you. But I think that the degree that it's going to increase is just going to be mind-blowing. We are in the very early days of cryptocurrency, and maybe it doesn't feel like that because, if you're listening to this at the time I posted this video or shortly thereafter, it's today. It's the present. But it's not always going to be the present right now. Okay, do you see this? Where we're at right now will become the past. And I don't know that everyone's going to fully appreciate the opportunity at hand until we have the benefit of hindsight. But I believe that this is going to be gigantic. I believe that this asset class is going to outperform every other asset class on the planet over the next decade. Now, in an interview with CNBC, Michael Saylor casually mentioned that it would produce profits in excess of $500 million next year, and it would debase by 15 to 20% if held as cash, which is why he invests it in Bitcoin, which provides 100% yearly return. Just from August 2020 to December 2020, Michael Saylor has scooped up a whopping 40,824 Bitcoin, which is approximately 7% of what Grayscale holds. And mind you, the max supply for Bitcoin is 21 million. Okay? Now, these two companies are just the ones that are in the news or being talked about widely in the crypto space. Let's take a look at the ones that aren't. And there's a list on the screen right there. I'm not going to read through all of them, but if you want to pause and take a look, it is right there. Now, as one can see, these companies together hold about 0.888 million Bitcoin, or 888,000 Bitcoin. This number is only going to go up. The question that should at this point come up is, will there be any Bitcoin left for people like you and me, the retail side of the market? Well, let's take a look. And by the way, the answer is obviously yes. It's just that it's going to be propped up because it's scarcity. So it's supply and demand dynamics. And so it just means that the people are going to be trading this on exchanges in perpetuity until something goes disastrously wrong. Like, I don't know, the sun explodes, something like that. But as long as the internet exists, like this stuff's going to get traded. Yeah, there will be Bitcoin left. It's just that it's going to be way more expensive to jump, like way more expensive. And so here you go. Total Bitcoin supply, 21 million. So yet to be mined would be 2.434 million. Circulating supply, as at the time I record this, 18.565 million. Lost Bitcoin, 4 million. And then free float, 14.565 million. And so with the lost Bitcoin, of course, it's an estimate, but anyway. They talk about it here. Let me just go a little bit further here. So we have approximately 14.565 million Bitcoin circulating in the free market. 6.09% of this is already owned by these institutions, which leaves a total of 13.667 million Bitcoin to us retail folk, right? Well, no. Let's try to approximate the Bitcoins being held by whales or owned/held solely by exchanges. There are a total of 15.866 million Bitcoin held in wallets containing more than 10 Bitcoin, which are whales very loosely. However, this includes the lost Bitcoins of 4 million. Deducting that, we have 11.866 million Bitcoin held by whales/exchanges. So 11.866 million Bitcoin out of 13.667 million Bitcoin is held by either whales or exchanges or both, which leaves about 1.801 million Bitcoin readily available and for the taking of retail institutions and whales alike. So you see, it's a smaller percentage than you necessarily might have guessed. Although I've kind of been making this point for the last couple of years. I've been running this YouTube channel, which is simply that the vast majority of XRP or Bitcoin, pick your cryptocurrency, the vast majority of it that has been mined, and so it's been, it's gotten out into the wild. A very small percentage of it at any given moment in time is actually for sale. Even if it's on exchange, you can think about how much crypto is on exchanges, a ton, but it doesn't mean it's all for sale, and a ton of it is in cold storage on top of that. And so it's actually a small, I don't know what the percentage is. I haven't seen the number lately, but last time I saw it, admittedly, it's been a while, but I can't remember. So it was pretty small. Is it 5% of XRP that exists? Is that how much is for sale at any given moment? It's minuscule. But anyway, and then the piece continues here. Although the above is a very vague approximation of numbers by loosely defining whales, exchange supply, etc., this does bring out a portion of the truth, if not the whole truth itself, which is Bitcoin is scarce. And so when you consider this in conjunction with the fact that so many big players with a ton of money are jumping into the space, and there's only so much left to be purchased here, supply and demand dynamics are really going to kick into high gear, I believe, and you're going to see some outlandish price action. So I understand, like, people are like, oh my gosh, Bitcoin's already at 20,000. It's too late. I missed the ride. And I'm just sitting here like, holy hell, do a little research, my friends. I'm like, almost nobody and no business has yet participated in this asset class. But I know, and I feel firmly on this, the asset class isn't going away. Even if I'm wrong about XRP, which I don't think I'm Mr. XRP Bull, but I'm just saying, even if I'm wrong about that, this asset class is not freaking going away. Like, it is, because you can have businesses that otherwise couldn't exist. Just think about this. In terms of fiscal policy, pick any nation around the planet. My gosh, talk about manipulation and debasement of fiat currencies. This is the first time you have something that, something of actual value because people decide it's value. It has value. That it can't simply be controlled by a government and printed into oblivion. Because what is money at its core? Well, it's a trust system. And the thing about it is you print money into oblivion. Well, we've seen that story before. We've seen how that ends. And I'll tell you what, any fiat currency that has been a global reserve throughout the history of mankind that gets debased, it can take however long, like, I don't know how long it's going to take, but if the trend doesn't change, eventually it will no longer be the global reserve. That's what history has taught us. So where do you think this is all going to go? Where do you think money's going to flow? And I'm not calling for the crash of the dollar. I'm not one of those types of people. Look, it could happen. And if it does, I don't even know if it's going to be in my lifetime. It could take so long because it is truly globally adopted. But you can't abuse it forever. You simply can't. And now that there's technology out there that it's like, frankly, it kind of makes the concept less useful. It seems more archaic. And I get it, you can't use cryptocurrency as money today because it's too volatile, but that's just because there's not much money in it. As more comes in, and we actually have, you can chart this over the last decade, like, crypto is becoming less volatile. But it's going to take some time. And again, that's one use case where it's like, today, does that really solve a problem? Well, today, despite the debasement of currencies all over the planet, I tell you what, I don't have trouble using my United States dollars to purchase stuff. I personally don't. So for me, even if there weren't volatility, even if cryptocurrencies, weren't costly to use for that purpose, and even if they were fast, it's just like, what incentive do I have to switch? And so I think there will be incentive, but I think it'll occur organically as time passes. And as so that means that there would have to be more need globally, at least in certain portions of the globe, and you really got to catch up technologically. But I could certainly see it taking hold. But that's why I'm more excited about businesses being able to utilize it, like XRP being used behind the scenes as a bridge currency on RippleNet with on-demand liquidity. Like, that's more exciting to me right now because it's being used today, solving a real problem today. And it's scarce as hell, my friends. It absolutely is. Don't think that 100 billion is a big number. Like, it's gonna get snatched up quick. I'm just saying. That's what I think anyway. So congrats on being here early again. But that is it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.